fall is the season for scares. And Halloween is like the Olympics for fear fanatics, except no one wins anything. The neighborhood is filled with decorations such as jack-o'-lanterns, wreaths, witch hats, tombstones, skulls, skeletons, ghouls, toilet rolls hanging by the trees, do not enter caution tape, fake body parts hanging by the houses, etc. Even our social media feeds are flooded with ironic costume ideas, real ghost stories, and paranormal clips that have made their way to YouTube. For those of you who get a sick thrill out of being seriously frightened, we have put together a list of 8 of the creepiest things that have actually happened on Halloween. All of these stories are documented, confirmed stories. No urban legends, no spook-happy tales, just cold-blooded truth. The Man in the Mask. In 1957, a couple was getting ready for bed as the doorbell rang. It was late, but the husband answered the door, ready to dole out more candies. Instead, an adult wearing a mask shot him in the chest, killing him. Was it a trick-or-treater dissatisfied with the candy selection? Not quite. The murderer, it turns out, was the girlfriend of a woman who had an affair with the murdered man's wife. The woman convinced her girlfriend to do away with the husband in order to have the wife for herself. Candyman. On October 31, 1974, an 8-year-old Timothy O'Brien was killed when someone poisoned his candy with cyanide. The father, Ryan O'Brien, had taken out a huge life insurance policy on his 2 children. He gave the poison candy not only to his son and daughter, but also to 4 other children. But only Timothy had ingested the candy and died. O'Brien was executed in March 1984. Satanic Murder Premonitions. On October 31, 1981, a couple was found murdered in their home in Manhattan. They were severely beaten and then shot in the head, execution style, and their house was ransacked. The murder was initially thought to be related to drugs. However, word from a prison informant turned the case on its head, as inmate David Berkowitz, the notorious Son of Sam killer, predicted the murder weeks before it happened. He gave an eerily accurate account of what was done to the slain couple's apartment, but could not have in any way perpetrated the murders, so the case remains unsolved. Deathly Gallows. On October 31, 1990, William Anthony Odem was 15 years old when he accidentally hung himself when staging a gallows scene in the basement of his haunted house. Multiple slashings. In 2004, one of the most horrific recent events to happen on Halloween took place in Napa Valley, California. Housemates Adrian Izogna, Leslie Ann Mazzara, and Lauren Mianza had spent the evening handing out candies to trick-or-treaters. After going to bed, Lauren woke to the sounds of Adrian screaming at 2 a.m. She ran outside in horror, but after hearing screaming again, she ran back inside. She then discovered both her friends had been stabbed and were barely alive. She once again ran out the house and called 911, but on her return, her 2 friends had died. The killer, as it turns out, was Adrian's best friend's fiancé, Eric Koppel, who committed the murders because he was jealous of the friendship between Adrian and his girlfriend. Deadly Decoration. On October 31, 2005, locals in Frederica, Delaware thought that their neighbor had reached new heights with her Halloween decorations, as along with cobwebs, jack-o'-lanterns, rubber monsters, there was one very grisly hanging body amid the decor. Sadly, they couldn't have been more wrong. It was actually the body of a 42-year-old woman who committed suicide by hanging herself from a tree in her own lawn. She had been left hanging for 3 hours before residents realized it was an actual person. Identity theft. In the year 2012, in the run-up to Halloween, a 9-year-old girl was shot outside her home during a Halloween party by a relative who thought she was a skunk. She was dressed in a black dress and black and white hat with a tassel on top, which misled her killer. The child was shot in the shoulder, arm, back and neck by her cousin and was rushed to the hospital to be treated. Fortunately, she lived, but sustained serious damage to her internal organs and spine and even had to undergo tests for lead poisoning. You have got mail. In 2012, a postman arrived at a porch to deliver his usual morning mail when he saw one of his stops had a rather convincing Halloween decoration on the doorstep. The postman sidestepped the convincing dead body and delivered the mail. But it would never be received as the man had collapsed and died on his doorstep the night before. Halloween is supposed to be the night when scaring someone and being scared is fun. But aside from all the fun, there is a dangerous buzz in the air on Halloween night. Costumed, inebriated adults are extra fearless. There's a power that comes with disguise and uninhibited mischief that comes with the holiday. So it's no surprise that some of the scariest stories happen on Halloween.